Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Julie from Living Large on Lifetime, and it's Thursday, which means it's time for another edition of WWWWJD. What would Weight Watcher Julie do? That's me. So I have a few questions for you guys today. First of all, remember, although I do work for Weight Watchers, I am a receptionist, and I've been on Weight Watchers for about 2.5 years. I am not an expert. This channel is not affiliated with Weight Watchers, and they do not endorse my channel in any way. This is my own personal channel, and all of my opinions here are my opinions. So take them or leave them, but hopefully they will help some of you guys out there, because I know a lot of us have a lot of the same questions. So let's help each other out. Let's get a dialogue going down below, and we can help each other along on this journey. So I have 3 questions for you guys today. The first one comes from my dear friend Sally. Sally says, any suggestions on how to do portion controls on the new food items that are now 0? That's a huge question, because I know for a lot of you guys out there, that was your #1 concern when you heard that chicken and eggs and corn and yogurt, all of the 0 points foods, it sounds like a dream come true. I can eat as much of this as I want and not have to count any of it. However, as we know, these points have been assigned a value of 0 by Weight Watchers because we are not very likely to overeat them. However, they do still have calories, and our body is going to use those calories and use the nutrition as it sees fit. So if we're overeating a lot of these 0 point items, then it's obviously going to show on the scale. I don't know how possible it is to overeat these things. I think I may have had, in the beginning, like literally the first week or 2, I may have had maybe 8 ounces of chicken breast when I only needed 5 or 6. I think that's it. I haven't overeaten edamame or poached eggs, which I love. I really honestly think, while a lot of these items are very delicious, especially if you're making them into yummy recipes, it's still hard to overeat them, because you know what, guys, you just get full, and there's only so much you can poke into your mouth when you're stuffed. So I absolutely believe that it's going to be pretty hard to overdo it, but you may be tempted. The first thing we really have to think about is being in touch with our own bodies. It's a lot of us, I know, I really just like eating. I like eating. It doesn't always matter what it is. I just like the feeling of eating something yummy and enjoying it, and I could carry that on for 20-30 minutes, and even 20 or 30 minutes past being full. So it's really, the first step is we have to be in tune with our own bodies and recognize when you've had enough. I think most of us know in our minds when you've had enough. It may take actually physically stopping, pulling away from the table, pushing the food back, and really asking yourself, have I had enough? This really comes from practice. I have fine-tuned this, I guess, over the last couple of years that I've been on Weight Watchers, because I don't generally overeat anymore unless I know I'm specifically going to some place where we're doing a food tasting, or it's a food that I rarely get. Then I do occasionally, but I rarely overeat anymore. I rarely even mindlessly eat anymore, and to me that is like snacking when you're not hungry. So I really don't even do very much of that anymore. So it is really a learned behavior, but you have to really consciously think about, am I really hungry right now? Do I really need this food right now, even if it's 0 points? And number 2, if I'm in the middle of eating, have I had enough? Do I really need more? Am I satisfied? Just remember that you can always go back for more. If you stop eating at 5:30 because you think you're full and you're done, and at 5:50 you're still craving and hungry and need something because you're not filled, you can go back for more. But you don't always have to have it right away. So that's my very first step is to really try and get in touch with and learn about your own body and when enough is enough for you. It's going to be different for all of us, and enough is maybe sometimes when your belly is physically full, or maybe sometimes enough is not until your mind is happy with the amount that you've had. So that's my first and probably the best tip. Number 2 is I still track 0 points foods. So there's a couple ways you can do this. If you're looking to fine-tune your portion control and make sure that you're not eating too much of the 0 points foods, I would actually track the amount and keep weighing the amount of 0 points foods that you're having. If you're worried that you're eating too much chicken, start with what is known to be a reasonable amount of chicken. Start with 3 ounces or 5 ounces. I will usually have 3 ounces of chicken for a lighter meal like lunch, and then I'm very satisfied with 5 ounces of chicken for a bigger meal like dinner. So these to me are some acceptable food portion sizes. So if you don't really know and you're trying to make sure that you don't go overboard, maybe start with some of those. Start with one of those accepted food portion sizes. Weigh it out, measure it out, serve it up for yourself, eat it, and then see how you feel. Was that enough? Or do you need another couple ounces? We don't have to weigh and measure these 0 points foods. Weight Watchers has kind of taken away that part of the puzzle for us, for a lot of us who really hate weighing and measuring or tracking. So they've kind of taken that away to make things easier. But if you feel more comfortable, because you're worried about portion sizes, if you feel more comfortable weighing and tracking and measuring, then keep doing it until you feel comfortable enough to let go of that. It may take a few weeks to get comfortable with knowing by looking how much chicken is enough. It may take a couple weeks for you to trust the program enough to say, I don't really need to track that. So until then, if you're watching the portion sizes and you want to be careful not to have enough, I would definitely say weigh and measure, and then track the 0 points food. So I have gotten to the point where I am not weighing and measuring my 0 points foods anymore. I'm kind of just eyeballing it, but I am still tracking them. And I wouldn't say that I'm doing that as a matter of watching my portions, but I'm actually doing that so that I have some sort of reference point. If I get to the end of a week and I've gained 10 pounds, it's not gonna happen. If I get to the end of a week and I've gained 10 pounds, I wanna be able to look back on my tracker and see what happened. You know, yesterday, for example, I had a completely 0 point day. I didn't do it on purpose. It was what I chose to eat that day and what I chose not to drink that day. So I had a completely 0 point day. If I didn't track any of that, and I go to the end of this week and I've gained 5 pounds and I've had 3 0 point days, I'm gonna look back in my tracker and it's gonna say on Wednesday, nothing. There's nothing in there. I had nothing. And that's not true. So for me right now, because I'm really trying to fine tune my diet in general, because I want to lose the last few pounds, I want to be able to look back for myself to see what I've eaten on any given day and maybe an approximate portion size, because I could just put eggs, but what if I was so hungry I ate 6 poached eggs that day? I don't think, number one, that I could or would eat 6 poached eggs in a day, and number two, I don't think it would affect my weight negatively anyway. But what if I broke out into hives or something and I needed to find out what the problem was? So that's just my personal thing for right now. I do still plan, when I hit my actual goal weight, I want to drop tracking the 0 points foods. And I've been tracking for so long, it's such a knee-jerk reaction to me that at this point I don't know if I can drop it. But I'm gonna try. But for trying to monitor your portion sizes, I would say just keep tracking until you feel comfortable not tracking anymore. You will know when that is, and only you can tell when that is. So I hope that helps, Sally. And I'm talking more specifically about protein foods, a lot of the newer 0 point foods that have just become 0 points on Weight Watchers. As far as things like fruits and vegetables, I still don't think you could really overdo it on fruits and vegetables either. So, and those are probably going to be the first things that I drop when I stop tracking. So I eat probably, like today I think I brought like 3 fruits to eat. So I probably eat like 1 to 3 fruits per day, and I eat I know the lower end of points. So if I'm eating only that many fruits per day, I don't know, you know, how many fruits other people are eating per day, but I'm not gaining from eating fruits. So anyway, I hope that helps. Next question comes from Jennifer Kleinhoff. This is a thought-provoking question. Jennifer says, Kleinkauf. Sorry, Jennifer Kleinkauf. She says, what would you go back and tell yourself during your first month? Also, I looked for before pictures and couldn't find any. Can you share some? Well, let's talk about the pictures first, because I, probably like most of you, do not have a ton of full body pictures from when I was at my highest weight, which was 172. And by the way, when I gave birth to my first son, I was 175. So 172, far from comfortable. I had a lot of upper body photos and facial photos because I obviously did not like the way I looked at all. So most of my pictures on Facebook are upper body, unless by chance somebody caught me doing something. I have a few running pictures where I look really bloated and just terrible. So I actually have, I think I probably use like the same 3 or 4 before photos because I just don't have that many. And then I have a few after photos, which I'm still looking for my best after photo. How weird is that? Anyway, I can definitely insert some of the before photos, and I'll insert some after photos for comparison purposes too, just for you, Jennifer. I have done this just a couple times over the year, but I'll put them in so you can see the difference and see how much I've lost. A total of, my Weight Watchers name tag says 40 pounds, but I actually, right now I'm at like 35 point something. So at my lowest Weight Watchers weight, I think I was like less than a pound away from that 40 pound mark. But it's funny because I feel like the 40 pound thing on my Weight Watchers name tag is kind of like your driver's license weight, like you're always trying to get to that. I am gonna hit that 40 pound mark this year. I'm like this close. Anyway, so what would I tell myself in the first month? You know what? The first thing I would tell myself is, Julie, just don't give up. Just don't give up. You know what? That just about made me tear up right now, because I can't tell you how many times over my life I have, okay, if you guys don't know my story, I had an eating disorder for most of my life. I've hated the way I looked for most of my life. How sad is that? And I have been on so many diets and fasts and starving and binging and vomiting and everything. I've done it all. And I can't even tell you how much Weight Watchers has changed my life, because it is such a solid program nutritionally, mentally. It really works, you guys. It's science. It has to work. You follow the program, it works. But if I could just tell myself that first month, don't give up, Julie. And you know what? I'm looking at all of you guys. I'm looking right into your eyes right now. Don't give up. Don't give up. It gets better, it gets easier, and it can be the answer for you, for so many things in your life, for stability, for loving yourself again, for getting healthy again, for treating yourself the way that you need to be treated. So I don't know why that led me into all that, but that's what I would say to myself. Don't give up. It gets easier, it gets more fun, and you will see results. So what else would I tell myself in the first month? Really, you know what? It just takes time. The first month is probably the hardest, because Yes, you will start to see results by the end of the first month, but if you could just fast forward from that first month, fast forward 3 months even, you'll have such great results. You won't want to give up. You won't want to stop. You will see that it's working. You will see the results and you'll want more, more, more. I want more results. So literally the first month is the hardest. You just can't give up. Keep going. I wish I could fast forward all of you guys that are just starting. Just fast forward 3 months. Just keep doing it. What else would I tell myself? I think that's it, honestly, because the rest of it just comes as part of the program. Some of the things that I love and that I tell myself all the time, even now, and I would probably reiterate to myself back then, is that this is not a diet, this is a lifestyle, and I can have anything I want, just not all at once. All things are acceptable on Weight Watchers. You just have to choose what you're going to work into your budget and what you're not. And as far as the whole lifestyle thing, I don't think at the beginning that I thought of this as a lifestyle at all, and now it's who I am. This is what I do, this is how I love myself, and this is how I stay healthy. So it is most definitely a lifestyle for me. It reminds me of something that I heard on a Fat Dag podcast a few weeks ago, and someone was talking, I think they were talking about the difference between a diet and a lifestyle. And a diet is short term. If you think of this in terms of, I am really sorry for whoever's backing up right now. There we go. They heard me. No, they didn't. But if you think of this as a diet, just the word diet is so short term. It's in our culture, it's a short term word. So if you call it a diet, you're going to be on it short term. If you think this is just a temporary solution to your problem, then you're going to be on it short term. But a lifestyle is forever. I think about that so many times, you guys. I was thinking about that in the car this morning. A lifestyle is forever. And when I think about some of the things I want to do, and I wish I could eat pizza all the time. I wish I could go out with my coworkers and spend money on whatever, I don't know what they're eating. But I don't, because this is my lifestyle. This is who I am, and this is how I maintain my happiness, my mental peace, and my health. So this is my lifestyle. This is who I am. This is how I eat. And you know what? I actually like it. When I start to think about all the things I can't have, I immediately switch the brain and start thinking about all the things I can have. It has taken me a while, but there are so many foods on this lifestyle that I love to eat. Love to eat. Like poke bowls, like grits, like the coffee I have every morning. There are so many things that I literally love to eat. Why focus on what I can't have when there are so many things that I can? You know what, literally sometimes when I sit down to try and do my meal plan, there are so many things that I love. I'm like, oh, what should I have this week? I can't decide. There's that much good stuff. So anyway, this was a super long answer to this question, but I hope that answered your question, Jennifer, and enjoy the pictures because I don't show them very often. Okay, I have one more question for you guys. This comes from Crystal Smith. Oh, I was totally gonna look this up and I did not. Crystal Smith, okay, maybe you guys can help me with this because I'll give you my opinion, but I actually want to look it up as well and see what other people think. Crystal says, my question is, this is actually very relevant because I'm trying to minimize my budget for this year, and there are some things that are just ridiculously expensive, but I buy them because they're super low in points. I actually don't buy hamburger meat because I think hamburger meat is way overpriced no matter how much fat is in it. So, but this question I liked because I want you to be able to spend your money wisely as well and still stay on plan. So Crystal says, my question is, I buy the cheapest hamburger meat. I cook and then wash it. What is the points for cooked, completely washed hamburger meat? I don't know if there's going to be a hard and fast answer for this online even, but I would like to hear your guys' opinion. Like, if you first of all, you're going to cook it, and you want to cook it more, I would say, on the well done side, because the more you cook it, the more fat is actually going to be released from the hamburger meat. So you want to get as much fat out as possible. So you're going to cook it first, pretty well done, then you're going to drain it so you can get as much of that fat off as possible. Third and final step, which Crystal is asking about, is if you wash it, rinse it. Okay, number one, you need to wash it off in very, very hot water, because hot water will like melt any remaining fat off, right? Cold water, once it hits the hamburger meat, if there's any fat left, it's just going to solidify the grease and it'll stay on the hamburger meat. So if you wash your hamburger meat with very, very hot water and try to rinse off any remaining fat, what do you guys think? Would it be similar to a 97% lean, 99%, 98? I don't even buy hamburgers, so I don't even know what the options are out there other than 75%. I think 75% is what I usually end up with, because that's the cheapest, because that's the fattiest. But if you rinse everything off, what do you think? I want to go look it up right now, see if I can find a consensus online. I'll be right back. Okay, very, very interesting, and sorry for the delay in this. I should have looked it up before, but I totally forgot. So what I found out online is that a lot of people are actually doing this. A lot of people are rinsing their ground beef to remove the fat. What I could not find out at first was how efficient this is. Like, does it really even work? How much extra fat are you rinsing off? I finally found, actually it was at the top. I should have started at the top. I found an article by North Dakota State University, so a little bit of authority, I guess we could say, more so than people weighing in on a question. So I found an article from North Dakota State University which said that, number one, they added an extra step. So they cooked the ground beef, drained the fat, put it on a plate, and blotted with paper towels. So they cook the ground beef, drain it, line a plate with paper towels, and dump the ground beef onto the paper towels. Let it drain a little bit, and also blot the top a little bit. So, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Then pour, and they said heat your water to almost boiling. I would still go boiling. What's it gonna hurt? So heat your water to boiling, put the ground beef in a strainer, and then pour the hot water over it. And I think they said either let it sit for 5 minutes or continue pouring the water over it for 5 minutes. So doing this entire process, they found it would reduce the fat content in the ground beef by 50%. So in the trial that they used, it reduced the fat content from 12 grams of fat to 6 grams of fat. That's not bad. That's not bad. I don't know if I would have the time or patience to go through all those steps. But if we're talking about buying 75% lean ground beef, because that is the cheapest beef you can find, 75% lean is just regular ground beef. So if we rinse it, blot it, drain it, I would have to say, here's my opinion, but if I did all that, I would probably count it, 50% would be 87.5% lean. This is what I'm thinking, and my math may be wacky, my thinking may be wacky, but if I went through all those steps, then I would count my 75% lean ground beef as 87.5% lean ground beef. I don't think there's an option for that in the tracker. What I saw was 90%, 75%, and 95%. So I don't know. Crystal, the jury's out. I would say, you guys, if you could weigh in down below and help Crystal out, I would be really interested in seeing your answers. A lot of people said just buy the leaner ground beef or just eat less. But I can totally see the point of doing this. So I just don't know about the efficacy of this, like how much fat will it really remove? So that's the question here. I would say in the end, Crystal, you're gonna have to count it you'll have to count it how you feel comfortable counting it. If you think you're getting off a lot and you want to count it as 90% lean, count it as 90% lean. If you're eating a lot of this ground beef and you are not happy with your weight loss or your weight progress, then you might want to rethink it. You might switch to something else, or you might count it as 75%, or some compromise in between 75% and 90%. So it's totally up to you. It's one of those things where you just have to do the trial and error thing. Your body's going to be different. Your tracker is going to look different. Your mind is going to calculate it different. So whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever your body is responding to. But I am very interested to see the rest of you guys' answers and what you think. Help Crystal out. So that's it for me today, guys. I need to head back to work, but I hope you enjoyed these questions. If you have any questions for me, please put them down below. Once the questions die out, so does the series. So thanks to everyone who contributed to today's episode. I hope you all learned something awesome, and I'll see you next Tuesday for the next episode of WWWWJD. What would Weight Watcher Juli do? Bye guys, thanks for watching.